In neurology, there's more than 30% of conditions we know nothing about. I would get frustrated when I got home in the evening after seeing 30, 40 patients and tell myself, am I useless?
And how was that first epilepsy surgery done in your center?
In 1998, we had a Sudanese boy who was our first case. We operated on a Sunday morning on Independence Day, and that was the starting point of our epilepsy surgery program.
Now you're doing this inner surgery for people's mind so that they can fix their brain, rewire it for more wealth. How did this happen?
When COVID came, I was forced to transform my consultation into an online consultation. And I looked around and I found teachers who were, compared to me, they were very low qualified. All of them are running classes online. All kinds of people are doing things online. Why can't I?
You bought this video EEG by mortgaging your home. But still, what made you to go into that niche and why?
So I went to the bank for a loan, and interestingly, I faced discrimination there. I was earning money. I was income tax assessee. I had certain assets which I could pledge. But Canara Bank asked me, I need a male guarantor.
There's a story about a mother who brought her daughter to you. She's 6 years old and said that my daughter's life is over because she has epilepsy. Welcome to the Unicorn Coach Talk Show. Today we have a very special guest. She has specialized in neurology and neurosurgery, and now she is specializing in removing the neuroblocks with respect to wealth for so many people. Welcome to the show, Prithika Chary.
Good morning. Thank you for having me on the show.
Dr. Chary, you have done something that most people won't even attempt. You have tried medicine, neurosurgery, and entrepreneurship, and you are still driven today for personal transformation. So what drives you even today? What is the secret?
I think I was born curious. I'm curious about everything around me right from childhood. In fact, that was a difficulty my mother had in controlling me because I would open the door and go out. Everything. I wanted to know about everything around me. And God blessed me, I think, with some degree of intelligence where I could make sense out of what I saw.
Mm-hmm.
And I learnt very early in life that life is wonderful and that everything is worth exploring, worth finding out more about. And I guess that is my driving force till today. So even if it is technology, for instance, at this age, it's okay. Let's check it out. We can't be perfect, but doesn't matter. So I like to check things out. I like to learn more about. So I love travel. I love all of those things which open your mind.
Wow.
I guess that's my driving force.
Wow. So curiosity is the driving force of Dr. Chary here. Amazing.
Yeah, correct.
So, Dr. Chary, take me back to a moment where you bought this video EEG by mortgaging your home. Even your own colleagues said, please don't go into epilepsy. It is so niche. But still, what made you to go into that niche and why?
Maybe I finished my DM neurology in 1978. So I was practicing as a neurologist. And in 83, 84, 85, I was getting a little frustrated with the practice because in neurology, there's more than 30% of conditions we know nothing about. At least in those days we didn't. Even now we don't know too much about a lot more. But we didn't know enough. And so we could not really offer anything to the patient. So I would get frustrated when I got home in the evening after seeing 30, 40 patients and tell myself, am I useless? See, I'm not making a difference for this in the lives of these people. And this frustration stayed with me. And in 86, I went and even joined neurosurgery, tried to do more. Thinking that, okay, I can offer more to my patients. But 84, 85 was a bit of a turning point because I said, let me find some subspecialty where I can make a difference.
Wow.
And epilepsy came to mind. Reason is epilepsy, lots of wrong information is there, lots of stigma, myths. People have a difficult time. They think they cannot study, they cannot marry, they cannot live normal lives, and there's no treatment, and they suffer all their lives. People don't give them jobs. So all of these issues were there. And I said, yes, in each of those areas, I could make a difference. And so I said, I must go and get trained more in epilepsy. Also in 84, 85, epilepsy surgery as an option for treatment emerged. Mm-hmm. When I talked to my colleagues and told them, listen, can you train extra in epilepsy surgery so my patients can be helped? They said, no. Neurosurgeons' bread and butter is trauma and tumors. You will give us 4 or 5 cases in a year. For that, I cannot invest money and go and get trained. Mm-hmm. There is in neurology history a person called Victor Horsley. He was a neurologist. And he faced something similar centuries ago. And he became a neurosurgeon.
Oh.
So I said,
you read the story of him somewhere?
Yeah, it's there. It's in history of neurology, neurosurgery.
Oh.
He became a very good neurosurgeon. So I said, why not I also be like Victor Horsley? Let me have a shot at it. And I joined neurosurgery, did neurosurgery. So I thought I'd become another Victor Horsley. I joined neurosurgery. I did a 5-year course, very arduous course. In between the course, I kept telling myself, I don't need this degree. Why am I breaking my back? Because it's very tough. The hours are long. Everything is tough. But after finishing that, I told my professor to send me to England to train in epilepsy surgery. Which again, I put my money forward, took a loan, went and trained in epilepsy surgery with one of the best centers.
How much did you spend as a loan for
Then
this?
to fund myself for 3 months there in London, I took a loan of 5 lakhs.
Wow.
And that was the first time I mortgaged my flat, which I was owning from 1990. Then I said, okay, fine. This was in 93. And in 93, when I went there, the epilepsy services there in Maudsley Hospital, that is now a King's College Hospital in London, were tremendous. I was so inspired. And I said, I want to go back and start a comprehensive care center for epilepsy. And so when I came back, as I was traveling back, a name epicenter flashed in my brain during the return flight. Right. Then I expanded that epicenter because when a person's having a fit, they're in the middle of an epicenter of an earthquake. So I said, okay, Epilepsy Institute, Center for Treatment, Training, Research and Education. So all the activities of the center, everything was covered in that. I had a name, but I didn't have a center. So I went around asking people, will you help me? I want to start this center. I think we can do great work and all. They said, no, epilepsy is too narrow a field. Why would you want to start a single disease specialty? Do the general neurology, we'll join. So nobody came forward to join as a partner. Nobody wanted to. Even my professor said, no, this is all very stupid. The only man who supported me was Professor B. Ramurthy. And he said, your idea is brilliant, just do it. Avladhan, just one sentence.
Wow.
Nike madri, just do it.
So that's when you mortgaged again to buy that video EEG?
Illa, adukapram I had to search for a place ellame. And I had told my friends, edavadhu idam irundha sollunga, Mylapore area where I live, kitta irukattondu. Then my friend said, there's a place right opposite my home. It's a beautiful place, but I think I had only total 5 lakh savings appo. Budget taandum pola irukku, what shall we do? So I said, never mind, let's go look at it. So they were asking a rent of 25,000 rupees a month with 2 lakhs advance in 1994, which is a lot of money. But when I went into that building, I just walked through the building and I said, this is where the reception will be. This is where the consulting room will be. This is where the psychiatrist will sit. This is where the EEG machine will be. It just flowed. So, mortgage my house again. I had just finished paying off all the loan, mortgage again.
Wow.
And that 5 lakhs completely I invested. If I had a child and I had to marry them off, 5 lakhs will be spent. So this is my baby.
Wow.
So we'll spend on this.
So how does this kind of confidence come into you? How can people who are watching this episode develop the confidence that you have when taking a risk so big like this?
I don't know myself. I don't think it was confidence. It was just that passion driving me. There was that inner calling. I had to do this. And I always tell people, do you have any friends and all? My biggest friend I have, which is God. He's always with me.
Wow.
And so somehow or other, I just put everything, I meditate, I put everything in God's hands and said, you show me the way. So when I feel that inspiration or that intuition, I act on it, which many people are not doing when they should do, because that voice inside you is very wise.
Yeah.
And I did it, but it was very tough because I was working in Apollo Hospital at the same time. So all the income I generated there was sunk into this center. At that time, we were switching from analog EEG to digital EEG. It was a transition in the EEG world. And in England, to evaluate a patient for epilepsy surgery, you have to do a video EEG, which is a long-term recording of EEG together with video. So when the patient has a fit, same thing is shown where the fit is coming from. So I had to invest in that, and it was 24 lakhs cost of the machine. So I went to the bank for a loan, and interestingly, I faced discrimination there. I was earning money. I was income tax assessee. I had certain assets which I could pledge for against the loan. But the Canara Bank asked me, I need a male guarantor. You're a single woman. I need a male guarantor. They wouldn't give me the loan because I was a single woman.
Wow.
Two of my friends signed guarantor. Again, I, pledged my house, pledged this thing, and my entire time was spent in trying to pay back that loan. But during that time, we did some tremendous service. Our epicenter became, I made it into a beautiful place. It helped so many people. I would do a free clinic every month. It was just fantastic.
How did you market it and how did you get
No marketing.
patients? Yeah.
Do, that's all.
Ah.
There was no marketing. I just do. And I made so many lives better and I felt so fulfilled. I said, all this is worth it. In fact, my friends even said, we are losing a good doctor and getting a bad administrator. Because I used to get very irritated about this, all the running, the small nitty-gritty admin stuff. But whatever it is, that it was going beautifully. And self-marketing happened, word of mouth. And people started asking for that lady doctor in Chennai who's focused on epilepsy, who's just making people all right like magic. So people started looking for me that way. No Instagram, no nothing. Just word of mouth from satisfied patients.
How many patients you have impacted with that epicenter?
Since 94.
Yeah.
I don't know, tens of thousands of patients. Maybe 10,000, even 15, 20,000 even. Their lives have completely transformed, completely changed.
And how did this story end, right? You began this epicenter and where is this epicenter right now?
I was really struggling at the financial, the burden. And because I was also attached to Apollo and they knew I'm doing this work, I was seeing patients there also with epilepsy and things like that. Then they said, a lot of people were inquiring that doctor who's in Apollo who's got this center. So they sent a emissary and told me, you come and partner with us, we'll support you, bring your center into Apollo.
Wow.
So no rent. No headache, the finances, and they wanted the machine because they didn't want to invest in a new machine.
Wow.
So we got into a 60-40 agreement with them. They would do space and infrastructure. I will have my own little team. I would do all the services. And I introduced epilepsy surgery for the first time in Chennai in 1998.
Wow.
In Apollo.
And how was that first epilepsy surgery done in your center?
No, but to get epilepsy surgery done, I felt I was not adequately trained to be able to handle it alone. So when I was in training, when I went for that training in 1993, there was a boy whom I had mentored during my neurosurgery course. And I had given them some advice and he followed my advice to the letter and he became he finished his MCH, he wrote his DIP and BA neurosurgery, he wrote his primary FRCS here, went to London, did his final FRCS, got experience in England. All of that I gave him guidelines. I said work here for 2 years, then go to England because GH experience you cannot duplicate anywhere in the world. He followed all that and I happened to be there and for a conference and he said, ma'am, I'm having my FRCS convocation. I was in Dublin and his convocation was in Dublin. So I attended that. And then he had a daughter and his wife was pregnant. And he said, we don't want to continue living here. We want to come back. What are the options? So I said, you specialize in epilepsy surgery and come back. I will get you a job in Apollo. So for 1 year, he did that. He came back in 95, 96. I got him the appointment. We started, creating the epilepsy surgery program. In 1998, we had a Sudanese boy who was our first case. We operated on a Sunday morning on Independence Day.
Wow.
And that boy had been to England, he had been to Australia, and he had been told that he had a big waiting list. And so they came here and we did the surgery, very successful. And that was the starting point of our epilepsy surgery program. Since then, my colleague, Dr. Sendilnathan, and I have done more than 150 people. We have helped with epilepsy surgery. Our results are very good because epilepsy surgery is the next best thing to cure.
Amazing.
Because you can take them off drugs, because you're taking away the bad brain which is causing the seizure.
There's a story about a mother who brought her daughter to you. She's 6 years old and said that my daughter's life is over because she has epilepsy. And now she has done her PhD and she's having a great career. Can you tell us about what happened there?
Actually, that child also had a learning disability and was told that it's actually a boy, not a girl, who they had said, don't think of educating him beyond 8th standard. And the mother was in tears and she asked me, what can I do? She heard me give a talk in a learning disability conference. And she came to me. I said, don't worry, let us do what we can. Let us take it year by year. Don't think too far ahead because then you won't be able to proceed.
Yeah.
So take the first step. Let us do what. So we treated him. We saw him through school. We saw him through college. We saw him through this thing. And then everything was going well. And they used to see me once or twice a year. And we were maintaining him. Then after about 2-3 years, they suddenly came and said, can we have an appointment with you? We want to have a photo shoot with you. I said, what's happening? He said, this boy has got a gold medal in the
Wow.
state for a PhD, for his PhD, and we want to take a photo with you with his certificate and the gold medal and everything. So they came, we took a picture, and that's it. Turning point. That boy is now working as a professor, and his name is Venkatesh Arvind. You can go find him in the LinkedIn profile.
Wow, what an amazing story.
He's teaching other students. And he was told he cannot study beyond 8th standard.
That's an amazing story, Prithika ma'am. So, you yourself were diagnosed with cancer at 70, but didn't give up. So, what is this resilience that you have, that you teach to people now? So, how do you develop this kind of a strong resilience when faced with adversity?
There are two things we must remember in life. When you hit rock bottom, you cannot go any lower. When you're up against a wall, you either have to break through the wall or just keep standing there. So, that's what happened. I had no choice. I either choose to recover or choose to wallow in self-pity and I have, after all 50 years of experience as a doctor, I know how a positive mindset can help people get better. I've worked with all these epilepsy patients who thought they had no life. I've taught them that just you change your way of thinking and doing things, you'll change. So I should lead by example. Also, what was my choice? To become an invalid. I'm a single woman, I live alone. So what's the point of being an invalid or going into a home or being taken care of? I said, let us do what we have to do and take it as it comes.
Wow.
So they told me 6 months, you have a 30 to 50% chance of not being around, even with treatment. So I said, fine, I got 6 months. Let me do the best I can. So I marshaled all my resources. I found out what is the best treatment. I didn't care a bit about how much money I spent on the treatment. I said the best, only the best for me. And Apollo was very, very supportive. They helped me through that period tremendously. And I must acknowledge my thanks to Dr. P.C. Reddy and Preetha Reddy, who were extremely supportive. And what happened was, at that time, after the treatment happened, even I started taking better care of my health. So because after the chemotherapy and radiation, you had a 3-month period where you have to wait for the surgery. It's a big surgery. 8.5 hours was the surgery. So that 3 months, I said this is the best opportunity to change. So I built up a good exercise routine. I looked after my nutrition. I said I'll make myself a better risk for surgery. So I withstand the surgery better. That's exactly what happened. But there was a period after the surgery, they put a bag outside, which was the hardest time I've had in my entire life. Because my skin is sensitive, it burns under that applicator, and you have to keep it on 24 hours. So for 3 months, I was in sitting position. I couldn't lie down. I couldn't do anything. That bag was there. It leaked suddenly. It was very, very tough. But during that time, I used to say, okay, what choice do I have? Either I allow it to make me miserable, or I look for the little windows when it's not bothering me and I can be happy. So I listen to music, I did meditation. My friends were extremely supportive. I exposed my vulnerability. I said, look here, I'm feeling really bad today. Why don't one of you come and see me? My friends were amazing. They saw me through that whole thing. And here I am today.
Wow. That's an amazing story of resilience, right? Here we are seeing a cancer survivor who has been able to do that just because she was so resilient in doing that. Amazing. So, Prithika, you have done surgery for decades. Now you're doing this inner surgery for people's mind so that they can fix their brain, rewire it for more wealth. How did this happen? How do you do it?
I have always been doing stress management workshops offline for many years, from 94. Together with the Epicenter, I started an initiative called Creative Karma, where I said you create your own destiny. Karma is not pre-written, you create your karma.
Correct.
And under that banner, I used to teach people about what the brain is all about, because I wanted people to use their brain to the best potential. So colleges, schools, corporates, IIMs, and I used to do stress management workshops, because all along I believed in a concept called stress fitness. Just like you can be physically fit, you can train yourself to be stress fit.
Wow.
And the best way is not to run away from stress, but to learn to navigate stress. Like I said, when you got a wall in front of you, you jolly will break through. Otherwise, you can't go anywhere. You'll be standing there. So this was going on for a long time. And when the cancer came, I was not able to do any of these things. And also, that was a passion. I liked doing it. People liked it, I liked it. Then I was thinking, for a long time, I wanted to learn how to do things online.
Oh.
Because I touched a computer for the first time in my life at the age of 48. So a little bit I knew about email. I learned how to do PowerPoint, small things, Word, sending. I didn't even get into Facebook and all those things, which many of my colleagues were doing. And I said, okay, let me start exploring the online world. And I started little things, started learning small courses here and there. When COVID came, I was forced to transform my consultation into an online consultation. And I looked around and I found teachers who were, not hard. Compared to me, they were very low qualified. All of them are running classes online. All kinds of people are doing things online. Why can't I? Then I really went into more depth and joined some training programs, this, that, and all that. And I had all the time in the world because I was sitting inside the house with COVID. So I created a WhatsApp consultation platform, which worked amazingly well. Still, I use that because I found that my patients are not very familiar with Zoom and this and that. Everybody is familiar with WhatsApp. So this is working till today. WhatsApp online consultation. So then I attended digital marketing boot camp, something like that, little things. And then I said, okay, let me start this. I got very inspired. I can do all this work now online. That's how I tried to transition.
And what is this neuro wealth surgery, right? Okay, how do you do this for people?
Yeah, that is a concept which has evolved over many years now, from 2019. All kinds of what is my niche and up and down and trial error, lot of spending money on wrong choices, all kinds of things happen. But over the past 2-3 years, I've been under very excellent mentors, and you're one of them. And I have got clarity. I know my niche is resilience. I know that what I'm teaching people to do is not just bounce back, but bounce forward. Don't just rise in a new way. Don't go back to being the old self. That old self is over, gone. So you be your new self and rise different. And that is where, and it is when we talk about wealth, we don't mean, wealth is actually a generic term, which means abundance, which means your good health, which means you're physically, mentally, emotionally, totally safe, secure, loved, compassionate, whatever. So we use the word of wealth and say, okay, we will change your brain into a wealthy brain. And what do I do if there's a brain tumor? I go and excise it. Yeah. So all your bad habits, your old identity is like removing a brain tumor. And then what do we do in the rehab? We activate the rest of the brain to try to take over any missing function. It's the fundamental of neuro rehab. So we're doing the same thing here. We're teaching the rest of your brain, listen, you don't have to sit in your old, there are a lot of things. And neuroplasticity is a concept which actually enables it. The brain is capable, it's a dynamic organ, it's not a static organ. It's capable of changing its structure, function, chemicals, electricity, everything, if you put the right inputs from outside. So that's what we're doing. And along the way, because I've always been spiritual, I'm not religious, but I'm spiritual. And God is my best friend. So I'll often talk to God and say, listen, I got this problem, I don't know what to do, I'm putting it in your lap, you do what you want. Even when I got the cancer, I said, because I was in turmoil, should I continue working? I was 71, shouldn't I? Why can't I just retire and be happy at home? That kind of thing. Then I prayed to Sai Baba and told him, if you want me to continue doing the work you put me on earth to do, show me the way. If you think I've done enough and that I still have to undergo some suffering or something, give me the strength to bear it. Either way, I surrender completely to you.
Wow.
You guide me. And most of the time I live on intuition. I just listen to my gut. I meditate. I put out the question there. And So far, it has not let me down. I always get the right answers. Okay, I've made mistakes in my life, made a lot of mistakes. Like sometimes I lend money to people, they walk off with the money. My driver ran away with 50,000. A fellow joined 3 weeks ago. He said he had to shift house. I gave him 50,000. He took it and went off. So I've done stupid things like that. I'm not saying I'm perfect, but nobody is perfect.
Wow.
But I think I've had a good life. I think I'm living a good life. I think I make a difference. So all along my slogan for what is my driving force, I am a contributor. A person or a place should be better because I pass through or I touch their life. That is it. That is what makes me do whatever I do. That
Wonderful.
every little thing I do, let me see how I can contribute in that little way. Random act of kindness, some compassion. So it's a very wonderful driving force.
So that's a beautiful way to actually be spiritual and do all these things as a contributor. That's an amazing. What do you do in your 3-day workshop? In your 3-day workshop where you perform these neuro wealth surgeries on people, what exactly happens? How does this rewiring happen? How can they measure how much they have improved with their brain?
The first stage is actually diagnosis. Like in any medical condition, we have to diagnose and evaluate. So what do we do when you come with a brain tumor? I ask you your history, I ask the symptoms, whatever. And then we do a supportive scan, an MRI or a CT scan in today's world. Don't forget, I trained in a time when we didn't have CT MRI. And it was very difficult making diagnosis. But what we do is we get a scan and we diagnose the tumor. So like that, now in the first day, what we do is we give them a wealth and wellness scan, which they can do a self-evaluation. They can assess where they are now. Day 2, what they do is for understanding that as long as you are the old you, nothing will change. So we help them to identify that they require a new identity and they have to start embodying that identity and they cannot keep slipping back to the old identity. So on day 3, what they do is the precision neurosurgery. This identity change is like precision neurosurgery because when we remove the brain tumor, alongside the brain tumor, there are a lot of tissues. We cannot damage the normal brain. We have to be very careful with the blood vessels, everything. So it's exactly like that. And it varies with different individuals. So what we cut off, the covering membrane versus cutting off a blood vessel, some blood vessels we sacrifice. But without causing a dysfunction in the brain. So it's exactly similar to that. Only thing we play with your limiting beliefs, your fears, doubts. I'm not enough. All of that is what we handle on the second day. The third day we use the concept of lotus consciousness, which is a recent concept that we have developed, where we say whatever has happened to you, don't run away from it. Embrace it. Imagine you're the lotus pushing roots through slushy mud, trying to anchor yourself. You're not able to. It's all slushy mud. You're still not even able to push your roots through. So ground yourself completely by embracing the adversity. Then you have already got your new identity. Use that and leverage the adversity for you to transform. And once you transform, rise like the lotus stem does. Now you're armed. You can start moving. You rise. But even there, you have to push through the water. It's not just going to happen smoothly. Understand that life can be tough. Obstacles will occur. So start pushing through the water, putting out your leaves, putting out whatever else you need, drawing the nutrition from the adversity. Because that root is anchored and bringing you fuel.
Exactly.
So draw the nutrition from there. And when you break surface of the water and you come out as a lotus bud, then you have reached where you want to be or what you're meant to be. Exactly. When you've reached there, it's time for you not just to be there as a bud, but to open your petals, inspire yourself, inspire others, share your beauty with the world. Because each one of us are blessed with something which we are meant to share with the world. So it's a sin if you don't recognize your purpose and give it to the world. And that I call as lotus consciousness. That you grow from mud to magnificence.
That's an amazing structure for a 3-day class. People who are watching this, right, if you want to check out Prithika Chary's 3-day workshop on neuro wealth surgeries, you can check out on the link below the description. So, Prithika, when you say wealth is blocked in the brain, not the bank, what do you mean exactly?
We all know that the way we think determines the choices we make. But like I said earlier, sometimes we tell people, you always have a choice. And then I said, that when you have no choice, what do you do? So when you're blocked like that, when you have no choice, you have to make a choice.
Yeah.
And that's exactly the point. So when you make the choice, you decide whether you're going to think in so much is possible for me, or are you going to think nothing is possible for me. So when you think nothing is possible for me, it's poverty thinking. And you say everything is possible for me, I just have to move. Then abundance thinking. So when I think I don't have money, in fact, in my own personal life, I was brought up by parents who were middle class. I come from moderately humble beginning, and they always said, you have to work very hard for your money. Money doesn't grow on trees. Understand that if you have money, you have to keep it safe. You have to make sure that you don't talk too much about the money so other people don't get envious of you. So all this has been programmed in my childhood brain. And if, as a woman, an additional limitation was given, that women usually don't handle her finances. If you need anything, you must ask your father for the money. You cannot have independent income. So if you get married, you must ask your husband. And I have no brothers, so there was no brother to ask. And or tell the man, let the bank manager manage it. This was the kind of background. So it actually took a long time for me, even when I started earning well. And I was reasonably well off. But I always felt that I didn't have enough. I mean, everything was going right in my life, but I always felt I'm not having enough, and comparison happens. So nothing is, in the bank, everything is fine. The wealth is fine. But in my mind, the wealth was not fine.
Correct.
I mean, I had a car, I had a home, I had my independence, I was traveling abroad. I mean, by definition, I'm okay. But I still felt. Then a friend of mine actually has made the difference in my attitude.
What did she do?
He
Yeah.
said, sit down and list all that you have.
Hmm.
And then give it to me. I'm very poor in math. So he said, I'll calculate how long all that you have can keep you comfortable, living the lifestyle you're living now. He calculated and said, see, for the next 5 years, even if you don't go to work, you'll be all right. That completely changed for me. And I started telling myself that. And what happened was, my wealth increased. When I started coming from that mindset. So it's very important for us to cut away this poverty thinking and understand that there is plenty in the world for everybody. The other notion which, when you're brought up to be a good person, you have to have moral values. You are also taught that if I take a piece of the cake, somebody else gets less cake. But over the years, I've realized and learned that the universe, God has provided for all of us.
Yeah.
Like there was one spiritual leader whose satsang I attended, who said a beautiful statement when somebody asked, is there enough? If I take away, is there enough for somebody else? He said, when you send your child to the hostel, what do? You pack his box, you put all that he needs, you make sure that everything is enough, and then you send him to the hostel. You think God would have put you on earth here without providing all that you need? So there is always enough, and always enough for everybody. So this broadening of the mindset is the best wealth attractor I can think of.
Wow.
You don't need to do, automatically things will come, the right things will come to you, the right synchronicities will happen. Your path will be open. Automatically it will open.
So you have a mission for ending mental poverty, and suddenly you also got this donation from somebody of 1 crore who want to end epilepsy. How does positive thinking helps you in attracting opportunities like this?
Yeah, I said no, that if you are passionate about something and if you are driven that it is something that you will do, you can do, automatically you start behaving differently. Like this new identity, I said, once you create, you start functioning in a different way. And whatever you do becomes very targeted. Whether you like it or not, it just keeps, like magnet, it pulls you back into the path that you're taking. And what happened was, I have this vocational rehabilitation for people, underprivileged people with epilepsy. It's something that I've wanted to do for over 10 years. But funding was an issue. I didn't have enough funds to fund such a big project. And I was collecting small sums from my patients, and we amassed a few lakhs and that kind of thing. Whatever little things we could do through with that, we were doing. When I was talking about this, I talked to all my patients and said, listen, this project is there, and I wanted to make it bigger, and I wanted it to live on beyond me as a legacy. So I talked about it to my Rotary Club and Rotary Club of Madras Temple City, and they said, this is a wonderful project. You can park it inside our club and then go out for fundraising. So they said, we'll also support fundraising like we do for other projects, etc. And one of my patients with epilepsy, I was talking to him, and I was saying, like I was talking to every patient. He said, ma'am, I want to be part of this project. And I'm thinking of about 2 to 2.5 crores, but immediately I can give you 1 crore. And it just happened because I was thinking, I put a project plan, and the plan amount that I had put on that project plan was 1 crore. So this extra 3 lakhs that we had became bonus money because this fitted perfectly for the project plan. And we've kickstarted the project as of my birthday, 2nd June. And even today they're making biscuits. They're learning baking classes going on.
Oh, this is amazing. Right? When you have a vision, you attract the right people. When you have mental property, you attract the wrong things and the wrong people. But when you have the right vision, and the right people, that is what we learn from Prithika now. So, Dr. Prithika Chary, as a neurosurgeon, what is the difference between a brain of an animal and a brain of a human? And how blessed are we because we have this kind of a brain? And how can we use it for building our wealth?
I'm glad you asked that question because I think many of us human beings don't appreciate what wonderful creatures we are, and that we are really blessed to be a human being. See, when the fish and the lizard, that was the beginning of early animal kingdom, they are reptiles. Now, reptiles only have a functional brain. What does that do? It digests, it excretes, it reproduces, it protects, it runs away from fear, that kind of thing. It's a survival brain. Now, this reptilian brain didn't go away. It is still there in our brains as well. We'll come to that a little later. The second layer of brain which evolved is called the mammalian brain. And mammals are animals which deliver live young. They don't lay eggs. Living young they deliver. So you got your cat, dog, tiger, all of these are mammals. And because mammals give birth to live young which require care, the maternal instinct was evolved in these so that they take care of the young one. And that taking care of the young one gave what is called as the limbic system or the emotional brain. So mammals, actually, if you have a dog in the house, you'll know that you can make out when your dog is happy, when your dog is angry, it shows expression. So that was possible because of the maternal instinct and the need for a mammal to care for its young, at least for some time. So that brain is also there in our human brain. Then we evolved further and we went into the primate brain, which is your monkey, chimpanzee, ape, all of that are the primate brain. And the primate brain gave the ability of using the hand for doing things, for making something, holding something, etc. Whereas otherwise you were on 4 legs. So you got up and stood on 2 legs and started using your upper limbs for grasping and things like that. But this primate brain could understand expression, could understand noises, but did not have language. So that was the next layer of development. When as humans, we developed language, speech and language, which is what majorly distinguishes us from them. And for that to happen, we developed a big cerebral cortex, big 2 hemispheres sitting on top of the whole brain, which is your rational brain. Now this rational brain had a front portion of the brain called the prefrontal cortex, which is for understanding, analysis, and all the higher functions that we humans are capable of. So as a neurologist, when I examine higher functions in a patient, we are looking at all these executive function, decision-making, problem-solving, all that, plus speech and language. So these, neurologically, are the higher functions. And we cannot do without the other 2 brains. Because without a survival brain, which is represented in the human as the brain stem, all your automatic functions will not happen. So it looks after your blood pressure, your pulse, your heart rate, your digestion. Everything is looked after by the brain stem. That is why when the brain stem suffers in the ICU and doesn't function, brain stem death is like brain death because the rest of the brain cannot function once that is cut off.
Correct.
The next layer of the limbic system is your emotional brain. So there were certain structures which evolved and developed there, known as the limbic system, which consists of a structure called the amygdala and certain other structures, and is very closely linked to your memory brain. The memory brain is the hippocampus. Now, this memory brain takes all the inputs which the amygdala receives and parks it in the memory. That's your subconscious. That's where everything goes and sits. But this amygdala is meant to keep you safe. Its job is to look out for danger. What is going to harm me? Will something attack my young one? Will somebody come and attack me? All of these things, that fear, doubt, all those uncertainties, interpreting things wrongly. Like you can see a rope and think it's a snake. All of that happens at the amygdala level. Now, when we function, we all function at the amygdala level. That's the first response that the nervous system gives. So whether it's good, bad, whatever is happening, first response is from the amygdala. But it's a reactive response. It doesn't analyze, am I right, wrong, nothing. It doesn't do all that. It just reacts. And from that reaction, messages go to other parts of the brain and gets processed. Now, there is a structure called the thalamus, which when it goes there, sometimes it just stays there, then we are very reactive. So, you come and shout at me, I get angry with you, all that is the thalamus level. It doesn't go beyond that. But some of the impulses, most of the time, go beyond that to the prefrontal cortex, which is your rational brain. Okay, Gopal got up and slapped me. Should I slap him back? Or should I cry? Or should I run away? All of this happens in the prefrontal cortex. So it gives me the proactive behavior which I have to develop to respond to the reaction of the amygdala. But majority of the time what happens, because our subconscious, everything is sitting in the amygdala and the hippocampal memory, we are responding from the amygdala. She was rude to me, so she doesn't like me. That is the amygdala talking. Now, why was she rude to me? Did you do something to instigate it? All that is prefrontal cortex. So, majority of us are sitting here. And what is aggravating that? All the pre-programming I had from childhood. Which was all programmed into my head by 7 years of age. So, this is where we are functioning. That is why I said the single advice is self-awareness. When you are activating your prefrontal cortex, being aware of what is happening, analyzing it, understanding it, and not just jumping from the subconscious. Subconscious doesn't know good, bad, right, wrong, doesn't know anything. You say jump, it'll jump. You say hit, it'll hit. Whereas the prefrontal cortex will analyze and say it's okay, not okay. So it's okay to not be okay sometimes. That is why we say don't repress or suppress your emotions. That's the emotional brain. This is your mental brain, the prefrontal cortex. Then you got your physical body, which is also, so all three are connected. That is why when I'm depressed, which is an emotional thing, I can't think. My memory suffers. Also, when I'm depressed, I eat more than I should. That thermostat for eating is shut off. So this is the connection that people have to understand. That there is a connection between the thought, emotion, feeling, and your physical body. Every emotion is shown in the body. So when I'm depressed, what do? My posture changes. I slouch. I keep my head down. Everybody in the world does it. Same posture. So there are some base emotions which are common emotions which every human being experiences. So this intricate relationship is what we know in neuroscience. And now we are learning more and more and more because technology has helped us to analyze, study the brain better. And when we do neurosurgery on the brain, I'm not talking about physical neurosurgery. When I'm doing this neurowealth excision or incision or whatever you want to call it through lotus consciousness, you learn to align all this together. And then you rise into divinity. And we are all pieces of the divine put here on earth to fulfill a purpose. So once you become self-aware, you recognize that, you align with it. Life is fulfilling and life is flow.
Wow.
That's it.
So this was such a wonderful explanation by a neurosurgeon, and how by switching our brain from the animalness to the humanness and the divineness, we can achieve whatever we want to achieve with neuro wealth surgeries. Prithika, if you have to speak to a 45-year working professional who is stuck in their life because of mental poverty, what would be your one advice for them?
One advice is that being 45 is a beginning, not an end. And actually, by now you've become wiser. You've learned the good and the bad. You know what you need to do, what you need not do, what you should not do. You've become very much wiser. So you're not likely to repeat mistakes you made earlier. And so if you start rewiring your brain and rearranging your life, it's a point. I would say the word to use is redirection. When you move from success to significance, from making an impression on people to impact, from making your future safe, where you keep on collecting assets, etc., to thinking of legacy. After me, what? Who is going to help my name carry on?
No.
So you go from making an impression to impact, and from success to significance. And you finally end up with legacy thinking, which is actually your purpose. Your purpose in life is your legacy.
Yeah, a lot of people don't think about legacy, but you got it right. Okay, that is the only purpose of human life. With that said, now we are moving to the rapid fire section. We're going to ask questions to Prithika Chary. So, one belief that you had in your 30s, you no longer believe today.
The money. I told you, I thought I didn't have enough, which I no longer have. I know, even if my money, total bill amount in the bank is less today than it was 20 years ago, I will still believe that I have enough because my needs are less.
Medicine or mindset? Which one is more powerful?
For me, it has been both.
One daily practice that rewired your brain.
Meditation.
Most emotional moment of your career.
There were so many emotional moments.
You have to single out one.
But the most emotional moment was when I got admission into medical college. When I opened that letter, I think it's the most emotional moment of my life.
What would a 35-year-old version of you say to you today?
35-year-old of me, version of me was pretty good, actually, was doing everything quite right, but did not love herself as much as she should. So she will say, your starting point is love yourself because you matter. Because that time I matter was not very up in my mind. Everybody else, I was this candle burning and serving other people. Then I turned into an oil lamp where I started burning bright in my own flame and lighting others' lives.
Dr. Chary, if somebody is watching this video and their own brain is blocking their wealth, what is the first step that you would ask them to do?
First step is awareness. Realize that such a thing can be happening. Because most of us are drifting through life. We're not even aware of what is happening around us. So I think the first step would be become aware. And now there are so many opportunities for you to become aware. So stop, still yourself, listen to your inner voice, connect with the divine and listen. Because your mind, body and soul is capable. It's whispering to you all the time. Yeah. But you don't listen to the whispers. You wait for it to scream before you take action. So start listening to the whispers that are there in your mind, body and soul.
Wow, amazing. You just heard from a woman who has not only operated on people's brains, but she's now working with people's inner brains and helping them to remove all their blocks towards their own wealth. So if you felt even 1% improvement with what Dr. Prithika Chary shared with us today, please check out her inner wealth surgery workshop where you will be getting your own wealth scan of your brain and you will be able to switch to a new identity and you'll be able to make sure that identity is sticking with you for the rest of your life. Thank you for being here and enlightening all of us with all this wisdom.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much.